Good afternoon, YouTube. Thank you for checking back in with another TDH upload. We are working on the 1983 Formula F20 today, picking up where we left off. I've done a little bit of fiberglass work on the bulkhead for the bilge and the cutty step. We'll jump in there in a second and I will show you guys that stuff. First, we're going to pop in here. Amazon just swung by and was able to drop off my two-part foam kit. I got some 6-pound density foam from Total Boat. We're gonna go ahead and open this guy up real quick. I was smart enough this time. I brought my spare iPhone so that way you guys can actually get some footage of me actually working here. So I've got that guy charging up right now. We're gonna go ahead and set you up on this tripod real quick, open up this Total Boat stuff, and hopefully, with the weather permitting, we can start putting some foam underneath this boat. So far, everything's looking good. There's not a chance of rain in the forecast. There was yesterday, so I was a bit worried, and obviously there's a bit of humidity today because it rained, so there's still a bit of moisture on the ground, but currently it's looking like we're going to be able to get away with at least starting to mix up a few batches of this stuff and start pouring it. So let's check this stuff out, and then we'll jump on the boat and then we'll get to work. All right, guys, so I ordered this off of Amazon. It was a really fair price for the 2-gallon kit. For the 2-gallon kit, I want to say I paid roughly $120 some odd shipped to my door. And there's really good reviews on this stuff, and it seems like it works real well. I got the 6-pound density, and it should be straightforward. It should just be 1-to-1, as you guys can see here, 1-to-1 ratio mix. And following that, we should be able to mix it up with a nice little paddle on the drill. Mix it up real heavy, real nice. You got to make sure that you get a good mix with this stuff. That's everything that I've read online and everything that I've watched online to ensure this stuff kicks off properly. We have really good temps, like I was saying. We're between 70 and 75 degrees, and it's stating between any conditions higher than 80 degrees. You have about 15-second to 25-second work time. Everything that I've watched online, again, people have gotten away with about 2 minutes or so before it really starts to kick off. We're going to do a small batch first, see how it responds to itself, and then from there, we'll go ahead and mix up a heavy batch. I still have to make a paddle for my drill. That's going to be my biggest issue. I apologize for that interruption there. I had a customer that was walking up to the door. I had to get that sorted with him. Anyways, I still need to run up and grab gloves. I just realized that I don't have any freaking gloves, and I'm probably going to grab some more 1-quart mixing cups, because what we're going to do is have a mixing cup labeled Part A, a mixing cup Part B. Obviously, use these little guys here to measure out how much we're doing, it's really going to be just super simple, just using, our ounce over here on this guy. We'll probably fill it up to, we'll probably do 20 ounces of Part A, Part B, and then I've got these large mixing cups here. We'll pour it into there, and then I'm going to build a paddle for my drill real quick out of some aluminum bar and some flat stock, so that way we can mix this thing up really heavy, because I don't have like a whisking tool or anything, and I don't want to use a wooden mixer, because like I said in the beginning of the video, everyone tells me mix this thing up real heavy. If you mix it up real good and you have good temps, you're gonna have great luck using this product. So okay, you guys got that. Let's climb in the boat real quick. Let me show you this stuff, and then we'll get right to work, because I apologize, I talk a lot. Okay, climbing up in the boat, I'm gonna show you guys the bulkhead, and we'll jump right to it. So mixed up some Cabasil, got it all laid out in the corners here, up and over the engine stringer here, down and along the front, making sure that I get that bulkhead all sealed up right here, so that way there's no major issues, no leaking. Same thing up into the corners all the way right here. So what I ended up doing was similar to what Jack did on the corner for at least the bulkhead. I laid down some 20 ounce, I did a small strip right down the middle, and then a larger strip, and then I actually got a big guy right here. You can see I laid that down all the way through, and then I laid a section of chop mat right on the face of it. I chop mat these corners here, same thing over here. That's got chop mat, and then in the corners to the actual bulkhead to the bilge sides, that's 20 ounce, 2 layers of 20 ounce. And then where the cutty step, same darn thing, guys. I've got 2 layers of 20 ounce, a small strip, a larger strip. You can see it right there behind it, and then I have chop mat laying over it, both sides. And then down here, the same thing. I've got 20 ounce all down here, 2 layers of 20 ounce, and then a chop mat cover, and then one more chop mat cover going from side to side. And that's gonna be for the drain back for the cutty. And I know there's strings everywhere from the chop mat, and there's freaking resin globbed everywhere. I still need to come back and sand over a bunch of this stuff. You guys can see like all the little white spots where I've actually went through and sanded. I need to come down here and do all of that because I'm gonna tab in these floors too. This is all Cabasol right here. I want to put a layer of some 10 ounce or some 20 ounce right here, tab it in, and then chop mat it all over so that way it has a nice finish. And then we can move on to the floor. So that's what I have so far. As far as that fiberglass work goes, we're gonna go ahead and set up the tripod. I'm gonna build out this little stand or this little mixer, and then we'll get right to work. We are back from the store. I got myself some gloves. Here's my little paddle tool that I welded up real quick. Nothing fancy. Just gonna go on the end of the drill bit so that way I can go woo, mix it on up nice and neat. Got a ton of mixing cups here. A ton of the big guys. And then this one is going to be our test cup real quick. So what we're gonna do is plop you guys on this tripod real quick here. And we'll pour a little bit of part A and a little bit of part B. And mix it up real quick in this cup and then see how it reacts. See what our working time is, all of that jazz. All right, don't be an idiot. Don't freaking spill any of this stuff. I would be freaking furious at myself. And while we do this, while I mix up this part system here, we'll go into the boat and we'll start drilling our 2-inch hole saws in there. Where are we at here? I'll just do a little 6-ounce mix or something. We'll do 4 because I'm cheap. All right. There's 4 of B, and we'll do 4 of A. Ooh. All right, it's pretty straightforward here. Let's adjust you guys a little bit. I put the tape on the bottom of this one because I'm an idiot and I cracked it trying to get all the Cabasol out of there. All right.
Cool. They had it mixed up and it was a nice milky color.
All right, guys, it's probably gonna be a little hard for you to see. Oh no, you guys can see it pretty well. And immediately you can start feeling the heat coming out of this thing. Oh yeah, it's already rising. Oh yeah. So it looks like we've got some good temps. Look at that stuff. Look at it go. Whoa. Uh-oh. Grab a box here. Wow, look at that. That is going to town. It's gonna overflow. That was a bit much for a test, huh? Wow, look at it go. That is crazy. Take you guys out of here real quick. Look at it. Wow, maybe we don't have that much time. Maybe with a heavy mix like that, it goes quick, huh? Okay, cool. I'm gonna let that do its thing. We're gonna climb up in the boat now, and we're gonna go ahead and start putting our 2-inch holes into the floorboards up here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up right here so that way I have a nice, workspace to clean up at, or, oh my gosh, a nice workspace to work in. I'll measure from each side of the board, roughly centered all the way up, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3 holes depending on how fast this stuff reacts. From what we just saw in that clip there, we may only need 1 or 2 holes. I mean, that was just 6 ounces you know, a 12 ounce, or excuse me, 4 ounces per, so an 8 ounce batch overall, and it's produced this massive bubble here. Wow, that is crazy. Look how fast that stuff kicked off. Well, it seems like we're in an optimal temperature now. Wow. Isn't that crazy, guys? Freaking technology, dude. You love it, but you hate it. All right. Oh yeah, dude, that's crazy. Look at it. That is crazy. All right, cool. Let me get up my hole saw set up, get this stuff swapped over. I'm gonna have to figure out what I could do about cleaning this so that way I don't put foam into the mix. And then, yeah. Wow, it's still holding on. Okay, all right. Distracted. Well, it's pretty straightforward in these clips, guys. I'm drilling out that hole there with the hole saw, cleaning my area up, mixing the 2-part, and then pouring it down into the boat. You guys will see here shortly the foam at work. I'm a little upset with the way that it reacted underneath the floor. I'm not quite sure if it was a bit cold down there, like, you know, below the atmospherical temperature, because it's about 81 degrees right now, and it didn't kick off the way that I want it. I went ahead and mixed up a second batch, you guys can see here, poured that down there, and I'll be showing you guys the final product here in just a second. Okay, so there's the foam so far. It's moved up just a little bit, but it's still about, I'd say, 8 inches from the base of the floor here. And I was really hoping that I could get it to lay down in that back area there and fill up that entire void, basically all in one. I used quite a bit. I didn't use half, but I used just about half of this bottle of the 2-part mix, and that's kind of where we've gotten at. So I'm a little upset. It's going to take quite a bit of this foam to fill this stuff up. If you guys have any recommendations or anything that I should do as far as flotation foam and structure foam, drop a comment below, because it's probably going to run me $500 to $1,000 just in foam to fill this hole up. And also, I was told that you cannot reuse the cups that you're mixing in. Well, you clearly can. If you just let it kick off and sit it in the sun for a little bit. Like I said, it's about 81 degrees, so I know in the sun it's much hotter. It kicked right off, and I was able to actually just pull it on out of the cup. So I know they're not a ton of money, but I was really hoping that, you know, to be able to reuse these things, because it's kind of silly that you'd have to throw it away after one mix. But that's where we're at, guys. It does make quite a bit of a mess, especially when you're mixing it up, and then once you realize it's starting to kick off, you're like, oh, I gotta go. So you can see I spilled some. I think I'm gonna mix up one more batch and just see what it does. I don't know. I'm not having much faith in this. This is a little bit of a letdown. I was really hoping to use this foam, obviously for the flotation, but the structure underneath the floor as they did from the factory. So I'm gonna grab a new glove and put you guys back on a time lapse and see what we can't do. I'm gonna clean up my paddle real quick too. That was 3 pours of foam, guys, and we're still about 5 inches or so from the base of the floorboard. So I'm a little, I can't say frustrated, because I knew going into it that it only does roughly 3 cubic foot. So if you see that blue mark right there, that's about 4 inches past 3 foot from the base of that bulkhead, or from the face of the bulkhead, excuse me. So the bulkhead for the cuddy comes back about 3 foot, and again 4 inches in front of that marker, so is the 3 foot mark. So I was hoping that because this kit can do a 3 cubic foot section, knowing that the front of the hole is not truly, like if you guys look here, this back here from the floorboard of the hole, or the base of the hole, and to the bottom of the floorboard is is roughly a foot. So going up to the front of the boat, towards the bow, it obviously gets smaller and smaller as it creates the V into the, into the bow shape and into the keel. So I knew that it wasn't going to be true 3 cubic foot there. I was hoping that it would come back up towards that point there. And one thing I did forget to include in the beginning of the video is that I did set the hole as level as I possibly could with my floor jack. And I lowered it down so that way when I poured the foam, it wouldn't come rushing back to the transom. And I know naturally the boat is built like that. So you guys can see that it obviously started to come back towards the boat or towards the transom. So that's what we're looking like, guys. It's probably gonna take another couple of these kits. Like I said, I don't know if it's gonna cost me $1,000, but for 3 cubic foot, and like I said, I'm gonna mix up one more batch. I don't think I'm gonna film it, or I don't even know if I told you. I'm gonna mix up one more batch. I'm gonna pour it down there and see how it reacts. I may just end up using the entire kit in this video to see how far I can get, so that will give me an estimation on how far I will get over here on this side, and that'll kind of just give me a better idea of where I'm at, what I've got to save up for, and what's to come in the future. So again, I'm a little frustrated, but at the same time, I can only expect so much from it. And it's a learning curve. I am now learning, and now I know. So I don't think I'm gonna film this next mix up and pour, but I will check in with you guys to show you guys the last pour. I may just go ahead and do the rest of the kit here, and then close out this video and prep for part 2, because we're starting to get a little lengthy on this video and I do talk a lot. All right, guys, I'm wrapping up for the night, but I did one more pour like I said I was going to do, and I did get a little bit caught up with a buddy of mine who came by, who has been in the Marine field for about I'd say 20 years or so. He came by to basically just kind of give me some reassurance on the foam, and that unfortunately this is kind of the nature of the beast. This is what it's going to be at. So pull my light off real quick and I'll show you guys under here. You can see that where I poured from, it obviously built all the way up from where I poured from, but it didn't fill the voids over here like I was hoping it would do. So that's where my frustration comes in. It's like, man, what is the point of this? Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like maybe I should have just waited to put the floors down and then foam it, but he came by and he was like, look, man, this is kind of the nature of the beast. This is how it works. Like I said, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to spend $1,000 on foam, but I don't know, guys. That's kind of what it's gonna look like it's gonna be. He stated to just go ahead and put the floor down in the rear sections and stop worrying about checking it so often, and then drilling the holes a bit closer to each other. So fill where it is and then come down about a foot, drill another hole. And he said you don't have to exactly have them straight in a line. And I was kind of doing that because the OCD in me was like, all right, well, if they're all straight in a line and then I glass them all over, it'll look nice and uniform. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because it'll be painted and you won't see it. So I may end up drilling a little bit over, over here somewhere, or up a bit further, and filling it from there to see if I can get the voids back in these corners over here. Do I feel like the floor is going to go anywhere? No. But from Formula, the foam was all the way up to the boards. If you guys remember me pulling the floors apart, you'll see when I pulled the old existing floorboard off, the foam was literally right out to the top of it. And it's a 3/4 inch board. It's really thick, and we've been standing on it, in and out of it, jumping up and down the whole 9 yards on these floors, and they obviously haven't budged without foam underneath them. But for the peace of mind, that's what I was wanting. Just doesn't seem like it's going to be realistic on my small budget. I'm just going to have to spend the money and just dump that foam in there. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. I'm going to leave this as part 1. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Well, they say, motorsports is expensive, and boats are a luxury item, and they're even more expensive. And they weren't lying. They aren't joking. So it kind of hurt my heart a little bit, tugged at my heart a little bit, because I'm like, dang it, man. You know, I'm not trying to cut corners. I want whoever's going to purchase this boat next to be able to see these videos and be like, okay, look, this guy maybe wasn't an expert or a professional, but he was at least doing it by the book, or, you know, how it should be done. I know that there's going to be imperfections here and there, and I know that I'm not a fiberglass guy or a boat restoration guy, but there's only one way to learn how to do this stuff, and you do it by doing it, literally diving in and, you know, taking every piece of advice from everybody that, you know, has had experience doing this stuff. And whether it be in person taking advice, or going through YouTube videos or forums or Facebook pages, I don't just get my information from one source. I like to post everywhere. I like to speak to a lot of different people about these type of things, because I can strike a conversation regarding like, oh yeah, oh, you got a boat? Yeah, I got a Formula. And 9 times out of 10, the Formula name really brings up, you know, like, oh, it's a Formula. Okay, you know, it's not like I'm not trying to shoot shots at anybody here, but it's not a Bayliner, it's not a Sea Ray, you know, it's not, it wasn't mass produced in the same freaking mold 100,000 times over. You know, my boat was, I'm not gonna say it's one off. There's other F20 SCs out there, but it's not like you're driving down the road and you see another F20 chilling. You know, it's a boat that was built to be custom ordered, and that's kind of how Formula has done everything. As far as I know, as far as my research, all the way up to this day, you know, you can still custom order a Formula. They're not $40,000-$50,000 like they were. They're freaking $1 million, but they do have that name behind them, and they do have that build quality. So anyways, guys, that's kind of where I'm at with the foam procedure. I know I've been talking a lot, and it's really hard to not make these videos and not talk a bunch, because I do want to explain everything that I'm doing and kind of in detail break it down to you guys. So that's where we're at right now. It's going to cost me a nice pretty penny to order some more foam in, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and secure the floorboards down, so that way I can have the peace of mind and know that no moisture or any of that nonsense is going to get into the hole once the floorboards are down. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. I want to thank you for watching the video. I do appreciate it. If you've stuck with the video this long, it's really nice that you guys have tuned in and enjoyed checking out this kind of boat restoration / boat build. And I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. I'm sorry that I let a lot of folks down with the Nissan stuff. And I do love the CA18. I do love 240s. But I don't know. This is just a change of a pace and something that's new and something that's different. It fits more my style in here in Florida. Like, I can take my girl, I can take my friends, you know, I can enjoy this with my family and all of that jazz, as to where drifting and the 240 was awesome. It was kind of just me, you know, it was bringing me happiness, and it was bringing me joy, as to where this is something that I can do with my girl. You know, if my parents come down to visit, I can take them out, run down the St. Johns River. You know, there's so many factors that I can do. I could take this to a Jags game. I can take it to, you know, go to dinner, to a fish camp. You know, there's several things that I can do with a boat. So it's kind of the reason why I've went down this rabbit hole. And plus, it's something new. It's just something that is a change of pace, and I really enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm so sorry that I talk and I just ramble, but I want to bring this content to you guys. And that's about it. So I'll keep you guys in the loop for part 2. I'll probably have to order more foam. I may just end up throwing in another video of me sealing down the rear floors and getting those in place, and then from there we'll pick back up on the foam. But that's kind of the game plan. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you guys in the next upload. Later. I'm always